I would like to introduce all of you to Mandy from Cisco. All right, here you go. If you want to stay within the white lines and make sure and keep the mic close to you and project.
Awesome, okay. Hi everybody, how's it going? They moved up the time on this, and my hackathon team, we're trying to feverishly commit our last code, so I'm seriously multitasking at the moment. Okay, so my thing that I wanted to talk about is I thought we would have enough presentations on containers and APIs and Kubernetes and all those great things, and so I wanted to talk about something completely different, and I have a couple reasons why. And the thing that I want to talk about is the power of dads and our women in tech pipeline as a topic. So go for it. So I just started kind of talking about women in tech. I've never felt super comfortable about it because it's such a big topic and there's so many things to say. And so I kind of avoided it. And then one of my friends said, well, but you are a woman in tech. And maybe it would be at least worthwhile telling kind of your story of how you made it through 2 engineering degrees and working as an application developer and into the developer space for a long time. And I thought, okay, yeah, that's valid. I can talk about my experience. So this is my disclaimer. This is non-scientific, anecdotal, personal experience-based feedback, but it is the tale of one person and how I got through and some of the things that are important if you are a dad, I think. So next slide. So this is /me. As you said, I work for Cisco. I work for Cisco DevNet, which is the developer program for Cisco. And I often say I'm like the Lorax. Instead of I speak for the trees, I speak for the devs, because I represent developers in a hardware company. And that's interesting, although we're adding more and more and more software. So I live in Austin, and you can find me on Twitter. So what I wanted to say when I thought about this was, what's the most important thing I can talk to this DevOps audience about? And I thought, from coming to this conference before, I've talked to a lot of dads at this conference. So who's a dad or who's an uncle? Lots of them. How many people are dads or uncles of daughters or nieces? Awesome. So you're really important. I can go to the next slide. You have special powers that you can bring to bear on this issue more than anyone else, and that's what I want to talk about. So what's the problem? What's the thing that we're trying to get at? There's a skills and aptitudes part, but in school, there's as many girls who are doing well in math and science as boys. What happens is when we start choosing majors, choosing careers, we start to see this really big fall off. Women just aren't choosing as much to go into these fields. And there's lots of reasons why. I'm going to talk about a couple which had to do with things that I think my dad did for me that made this possible. So the first thing is it's all about the mindset. The mindset that you're fostering is more important than teaching JavaScript or teaching Python to your kids. Those are good because they can help teach the mindset, but the mindset is the big thing. And that mindset is to try, iterate, learn, fail, that loop that we constantly go through, deal with the unknown. So here's my dad. He's pretty awesome. He's a ukulele player and a lawyer and a doctor, and he's had all these crazy hobbies like telescopes, cameras, stereo equipment, and he, through all these crazy hobbies, gave me lots of examples of learning something new and lots of examples of iterating on the unknown, just jumping in and trying something you don't know how to do and dealing with that. And if you see my hackathon project later, you'll get to see another example of that because we seriously jumped in over our heads. But this has been really important. I think this is what has allowed me to make some of the choices I made to get into engineering and technology. He didn't let me sit on the sideline while he was doing all those hobbies. So whenever we were building a telescope, when we were working on cars, when we were soldering audio equipment, he pulled me in, whether I wanted it or not. Sometimes this resulted in tears and, oh my God, what is my dad making me do? But it was really good for me. And his general philosophy was, let's give her a soldering iron and let her burn her fingers a few times, right? And get the experience of being hands-on and doing it. I think this is important. This is another personal experience, but I have 2 boys. So I'm a mom of 2 boys, and I have 4 nieces. And my observation is school is a little bit easy player mode for girls versus boys. It's very structured. There's like these outcomes that are set. It's kind of structured by women teachers. The books they pick are more geared towards girls, all these kinds of things. And so girls don't get as much opportunity to sort of have the iterate, learn message in school. Boys don't get a lot of it either. Our school just doesn't have much in that. So I think it's really important to do this at home. And so if you're doing projects around the house, if you're doing them with your hobbies, whatever you're doing, bring your kid in and let them share that journey. Don't show them the end product with the bow all tied up on it, right? Show the fail like this. Show the Pinterest fail, and then show how you work your way out of it and how you recover and go on. Because that's the actual technology skill that we all have, right? We've all been in that, like, I created this, and now I have to learn something new and undo it. So this is the really important part. Go ahead. Owning technology starts with the technology we have at home. So an example of this is, you can go to the next slide. When I was in 3rd grade, my dad got me a stereo. He was super into stereos. And he got me all the components. It wasn't like a little, shelf one. It was like components and wires. And he gave it to me, components and wires. And he said, go set it up. And I was like 9 or whatever, and I was like, I don't know what to do with these wires. And he was like, go figure it out. And maybe he was just tired that day, I don't know. But he gave me that experience, that chance to go figure it out. And it's not that hard. There's not that many things to really plug in on a stereo. So I iterated with it and played with it and got it. And now I've played in a lot of bands. Whenever I encounter any kind of audio equipment, I'm so confident to go and do it. So ask yourself, like, what technology is in your house, and can you help your kids own it in terms of understanding how to work with it? A little disclaimer, next slide, is this is my stereo today. So you might start down a path of, vintage audiophile equipment with that particular one. Go ahead. So we have more technology in our house than we ever have before. We have Nest, we have Echoes, we have our computers, we have our wireless routers, we have our PlayStations. Let your kids, especially your daughters, since we're talking about women in tech, let them be their own sysadmin. When I try to talk to my son about, networking or show him a circuit board or do something, it's very contrived. When I say, let's fix our wireless network so your PS4 works better and has better connectivity, it's much more real, and he actually cares about it. So he's his sysadmin for all the gaming equipment in our house. That's like his job, and he's got to figure it out. All right, next. This next one is really important. Debate. I grew up in a small Texas town. There wasn't a lot to do. Like, a lively family debate was really big entertainment. So find topics that you're passionate about. The Star Wars conspiracy theories, Scrabble rules, what music you like, which Doctor Who is your favorite, like whatever thing you guys can get passionate about, and have a real debate, a real conversation. My dad was a lawyer, so debating was pretty fun with him, right? But then listen to what your daughter says. Listen to what your kids say. This is important because if she chooses technology, someday she's going to be in a room all men, and she's got to present her point effectively, show that she's knowledgeable, and stand her ground. And this woman in a meeting meme is ridiculous, of like, women don't feel comfortable to put their ideas out in a logical way and defend them. And so I think that this, from my experience, the confidence to do that stemmed from a lot of conversations with my dad, where it was like a very equal exchange of peers, me proving my point, him pushing back, I'm comfortable pushing back on him, and it was about something silly like vinyl versus CDs or whatever, right? So this is a really important one, I think. Next. And the last one is, there's this mentality that happens with girls in middle school that's like a pack mentality. And you have to help your daughter or your niece or whoever have the confidence to break away from the pack. Because if she's going to choose a career in technology, she's going to choose something different than what all of her friends are choosing until things really catch up. Maybe someday in the future that's different. But for now, you have to make a conscious choice. Even if you're good at math, even if you're good at science, there's still this choice of, I'm choosing something that's a little bit different, and you have to be confident and know that you can succeed, you've got support, you're okay with trying the unknown. All those things kind of get wrapped up in this last one. So, dad ops for women in tech, this is something I just ask you all to think about. And thanks for listening. That's it.